Welcome to Chiller Plant Yard Pre-Construction Handoff. Before you is the structural plan view. From this view we will fly through the constructability sequence for installing the foundation. We will stop in areas to add some depth to the project and estimator's logic. The excavation company will cut the asphalt and excavate to subgrade. They will compact the bedding and prep for concrete. This is the grading and drainage plan. It shows the planned elevation for the corners, midway, and important benchmarks like the entry gate threshold on the center right of the concrete slab on grade. The orange colors are the existing asphalt elevation of the parking lot surface. All numbers are feet above sea level. The new elevations are the green highlighted numbers. These are for the top of the slab, TOS. You will also find the invert elevations. These show the bottom of the interior of the pipe. Use these numbers to determine if trenching will clash with your work. You will also see a trench drain in the slab at the bottom portion of the SOG. A detail for the trench drain shows reinforcement bar required to set the drain. This is important for the rebar supplier and detailer. Also for us, the build team. Our scope. Here is the architectural plan view. Note number 4, bollards. Note number 5, slab on grade. Note number 8, foundation with retaining walls. And note number 9, equipment pads. Some decisions need to be made when comparing this build to the other scopes we are contracted to perform. We have many retaining walls to install. Conserve materials for reuse on others. Next we need to know what collateral activities are potentially affecting our performance. Pre-construction meeting with all trades. Create a logistics plan. Plan accesses around and over excavation. And establish benchmarks away from all activities. Elevation control comes from the south wall at U-line. This is top of slab and top of U-line retaining wall. Calculate all of your footings from the top of north screen wall elevation. Confirm your information jives with HIT and the excavation contractor's bedding.
Let's take a look at the foundation details. This is a standard stem wall on footing. The wall size is much thicker than usual due to encapsulating plinth cages for the screen wall columns. These plinth cages land on stepped footings, so care must be taken when installing the bolts to depth. The rule is bolts must embed 12 inches into the footing. This places the nuts between the bottom and top mats of the footings. More on this later. These structural elevations show how the footing step and the type of footings with depth below control line. The control elevation is at -7, and the bottom of footing at the corner of U-line and 11 is -12. Thus the bottom of footing is at 5 feet below the control elevation. This is where we start.
Please note, there is an error at the bottom of footing shown here. The best practice is to create a confirming RFI that informs the design team the intent to use -11.5 feet at step from CY6A footing and CY4 footing. We can see that the difference between CY6A and CY4 is 6 inches in the details. Our survey team should set up an offset control, batterboard old school. Lines such that the center of walls easy to confirm. The structural notes say a water stop is required midway of the footing centered on the wall. A keyway is required as well. In the coming model, the keyway is off-center. This is an error in the model. The keyway must be centered and run up all the stepped faces. Let's start building the footings. Standard construction means and methods with 2-foot wide ripped 3/4 inch MDO form plywood. Use 2x4 for whalers and strong backs. Use nails sparingly to make it easy to strip. Remember the forms are only holding about 300 pounds per square foot pressure during the placement of the concrete. You can calculate this easily. For every foot up the form, add 150 pounds. So a 2-foot tall form has 300 pounds of pressure. Lamb and a rebar company will work together to install the reinforcement and plinth cages. Rod busters will place the bottom mat. Lamb will install the plinth cages on center both ways and to elevation. Bolt bottoms must be off of the dirt by at least 3 inches. They must be embedded in the footing by 1 foot. Rod busters install the top mat, corner bars, trim bars, step transition bars, and wall dowels. Lamb will install the keyway and wood templates. We will ensure the plinths are in the correct position and elevation before inspection. Rebar inspection. Then place the concrete and strip.
Pull the keyway and install water stop. Install the interior wall forms. This sequence is important because we are using form savers and attaching them to the interior wall. Interior wall forms set firmly with snap ties at the bottom 2 rows, wailers, strong backs, and aligners. Set elevation on form wall and install chamfer. Install the keyway with attached form savers. Attach the plinth cages to the formed wall. Install any additional snap ties. Rod busters install the balance of the rebar for the walls. Get the rebar inspection and set the exterior wall forms. Install chamfer at height and place the concrete. Strip the keyways at the form savers and clear out for backfill. The excavation company will be backfilling the interior after the plumbing contractor completes roughing in the drain pipes and chiller pipes. Also, the electrician and security underground conduits need to be completed. Once inspected, the backfill will be compacted and tested. Rod busters will install the form saver dowels and the double mats of rebar in the slab on grade. Lamb places and finishes the slab on grade. Wet curing blankets will be needed. Once the concrete has cured and the columns are installed, then Lamb's final task is to install the grout beds under each column.
As we wrap up this briefing, there is quite a bit of concrete in this project. 230 cubic yards in the foundation and footing, and another 308 in the slab. The estimator assumed 3 mobilizations with boom pump trucks, finishers, and concrete delivery. Also, a telehandler forklift throughout the month to help process the project materials. The calculations for materials produce less than 10% waste, with all planned for reuse in other walls. Use form oil from the beginning. A more in-depth review to create a workflow, schedule, and efficiency effort to reduce costs and increase speed will be forthcoming. Send any inquiries to mark@lambcontractors.com.